I assure you that today is going to be epic. Because in today's show, we're going to prove that some of the things that are being said about Michael Fazio are not true. So what's going to happen today is the first thing that we're going to do is we are in fact going to give Peter Van Diva a big shout out. And the fact that Peter Van Diva has posted some new videos, a couple of Peter Van Diva videos, and I see that Peter Van Diva has clarity of mind, his ability to enunciate what he wishes to do. New camera equipment is clear and precise, and the way he describes his new camera equipment shows that Peter has in fact brought his level of blogging to a higher level. He went through all of his new camera equipment and explained what each piece of equipment did, and how he was either happy with the equipment or not happy with the equipment. So let's give Peter Van Diva a big shout out. And if you haven't been seeing any of his uploads, he is now once again loading videos, and give Peter a big shout out. Congratulations, Peter. I really enjoyed your latest video about your camera equipment and how you're going to use this stuff, and your lenses and your cameras and your camera bag. One thing I could give you some advice for in regards to a camera bag. I know you have a good camera bag, but anybody out there that has camera equipment, if you really want a top of the line quality bag, and this goes for Steve Montelli as well as Peter, I suggest you look into a company called F-Stop. That would be F as in what would you have? F as in France. F as in France. F as in France. Stop. S-T-O-P. F-Stop camera bags. They make, in my opinion, and I researched the internet, the highest quality bags possible. And they are made of the lightest and strongest materials I've ever seen in any kind of a bag. Now, they sell everything from a day bag for an SLR camera and some telephoto lenses, which is a smaller version, up into a legal backpack, which is 11 by 21 by 26, I think, carry on toward the plane camera bag. And they have compartments where you can mix and match the way you want to arrange your equipment in the f-stop camera bag itself. And the compartments are Velcro compartmental sectional pieces, so you can pull the Velcro pieces apart and configure them in any way you want. That was a big advantage that I saw in the f-stop camera bags. However, the camera bags are a little bit pricey. For instance, the f-stop camera bag that you carry on the aircraft itself is upwards of $600 with the additional pack that you would, with the additional, it's an optional piece of equipment that you buy with the bag. So with that optional piece of equipment and shipping, Jack Thompson has something to say, and he wants to talk about his friend Jack Manning, who Jack has not been able to forget for a very long time. And far be it for me to mention a sore spot in Jack Thompson's life, but we're down to about 1,884 more times, and then I won't mention it again. LOL. So, getting back to the camera bags, f-stop, in my opinion, has the greatest, strongest most durable bags and the lightest bags on the market. And so, and weight is a big contributing factor to. So, and in addition to the fact that you can use it as a camera bag, I think there's 26 compartments in the bag. So there's a place for your passport and personal ID. There's a place at the bottom of the bag for packing day or weekend backpacking. At the bottom of the bag, they have a pack it in, pack it out bag, which you put your garbage when you go hiking in. You put your garbage to hike back out. There's a separate compartment on the bottom. In the back of the bag, there's a place for dry shirts. On the side of the bag, there's a couple of places you can slip things in, and then it's bracketed with clips all over the bag. So you can put, I put two fins, Avante fins, and a snorkel on the outside of the bag on one side, and a Star D tripod on the other side. The Star D is a very old aluminum tripod, but standard for a large, it will telescope up to 6 feet. So those things are a big plus with the f-stop. So I have to go to my notes here, which my show involves notes because of the topic matter that I'm going to discuss. I want to try to put it in some sort of order. And we are going to do that. We are going to put some things in order today. We're going to put some of these trolls that I have trolling my channel, making up fake dating site videos using my picture, not a caricature, my picture, and then also posting stuff on the internet that I would choose not to do against someone else, but they have little or no self-esteem or little or no integrity, and we're going to talk about those people in a moment. So the first thing I want to do is I would like to go to my home page. Let's see, and then I want to refresh my page so I can see the comments, which I don't think are many at this point. I think only Jack Thompson is a commenter. Already we have 12 people watching. Many at this point, I think. So I'm going to take these glasses off, but these are my favorite blogging glasses, and there's a reason for that. These glasses date back to the year 1980, actually, and I got them at a water park in America. But these glasses have been all over the scuba diving world. They've been to the Cat Island in the Bahamas. They've been to Bonaire, as another famous diving resort where you dive volcanoes. They have been to Aruba, where that's some diving and some entertainment. They've been to the Florida Keys. They've been to California. They've been to New York, and of course they are now residing in the Philippines, and that's why they're my favorite glasses. And oh yes, and they've been with me while I was doing pilot training on the Cherokee Warrior 2 aircraft. That's a 4-seater aircraft with a low fixed wing, top speed of about 185 knots, and I would put them on occasionally while I was acting in the right seat or as a passenger while other students trained. So these glasses they mean a lot to me, and they also bring back a lot of fun memories, especially in Bonaire, where I got to actually sit in the right seat of a 2-seater turboprop while the aircraft was in motion, in flight, straight and level flight. So that was from the airport in Aruba to Bonaire. And I do have a picture of that somewhere. Got to remember, this is going back to 1980. So what I have is a picture, not a video. Video cameras had not been invented back then, but I do have a picture of me. I think I'm sitting in the right seat. The plane is on the ground at that time. There were pictures of the plane in flight with me and these glasses, and I can't find those pictures, so I apologize. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to my notes. Once again, Peter Van Diva is back blogging. Give Peter a big congratulations. He seems to have very clarity of a very large, a new clarity of mind, and his blog was actually quite interesting. So I would give Peter a look-see. So let's go back to my show notes. And the reason for today's show is because, well, just recently a very series of very famous bloggers have put up some things on the internet which simply don't depict my actual lifestyle. And they believe they do, and I believe they don't. So we're going to talk about some of those things, and we're going to talk about trolls. Now we have Jack Thompson. He would, I'm going to have to take the glasses off. See, these are not actually reading glasses. These are my reading glasses. So Jack Thompson said, I would highly recommend those glasses while using a chainsaw, but only real men would know this. And Jack, one of the last things I would want to do is inhibit my ability to see what I was cutting with a chainsaw. But I know where you're going with this. Real men could cut wood with a chainsaw with their eyes closed. And in fact, when I used to fell trees, a lot of times, once I got the chain started in a fell tree, and I was cutting what is known as a round, R-O-U-N-D, round off the tree. See, most people make a mistake. This is a little piece of information for men that will one day operate a chainsaw, and so that the terminology is correct. When you're cutting, I don't need these glasses, when you're cutting, let's say you fell a 20-inch diameter pine tree, okay? Now, if you were going to make logs out of it, you'd cut it in certain lengths. And then, of course, you'd pull the bark off and trim it down to size with a chainsaw. You could either cut square logs, or you could use the smaller pine trees to make logs themselves with notches. And that's when you're going to use the tree for logs. But when you're cutting the tree up for firewood, and you cut the diameter of the tree, say 20 inches, and you cut a piece, say 20 inches in length, that is not, when it goes onto the ground, that's not called a tree stump. It's called a round, R-O-U-N-D. So when I listen to people on YouTube talk about, oh yeah, I put my anvil on a tree stump. No, you didn't mount your anvil to a tree stump, and because they'll take a round and they'll bolt an anvil down to a round, and they'll call it a tree stump. Well, they probably know a lot more about blacksmithing than I do, but they don't know much about felling trees or forestry. So that was just one of the questions that I remember on my test to get my, well, I had a landscaping license with a tag to clear trees. And in order to clear trees, you had to know, or deforest is what the actual term was. You had to know the terminology. So when you're going to deforest something or go in and thin out an existing forest, you have to know how to put or how to cut a limb off of a tree so that it doesn't kill the tree later on. And the proper way to do that is, if you're going to cut a limb off a tree, you should not put anything bigger or leave anything protruding out of the tree itself larger than about 1.25 inches. So if you can hang your hat on it, it might be too long. That was how it was explained to me by the tree surgeon who signed my tags for land clearing. He said, and he was also a biologist that worked for Key Largo. He said, if you can hang your hat on the piece that's left after you cut the limb off, it might be too long. So the reason for that is if you leave too much of the tree limb protruding out from the tree itself, it doesn't allow the tree to cover up the cut off section with first sap and then eventually grow over the knot that you create. So what happens is if it's too long, it dries out and termites go into that area. So that's just one more piece of information that you need to know to pass the test for deforesting or clearing or landscaping license, which I have, and we're going to talk about that. That's part of today's show. We're going to go over some of the things that I have found to be abusive towards myself, and then how I tried to correct those things. And we have on YouTube the trolls that refuse to take some of the challenges that have been posted in the direction of the trolls, and why they're afraid. Well, they're afraid to take any of my challenges because, of course, if they do take a $10,000 Fazio challenge or a $1,000 Fazio challenge or any challenges in between, typically, if I put out a challenge, I can either accomplish the task that's spoken about or can provide direct proof that what the trolls on YouTube say is inaccurate, false, partly ridiculous, and or completely worthless. And that's what they do. The trolls come on and they believe they can say anything they want, and then you say to them, if you're so sure about this, let's just wager some money on some of these acquisitions that you throw in my direction. And we're going to talk about some of the names of the troll channels. Like we have one troll that has a channel. I won't mention his channel name because that's not allowed. But he said something about Michael Fazio face is melted like a candlestick or something like that. I'm not real sure what it is. Now he put up a lot of videos, like 7 videos, all abusing myself. But however, when and if he ever tried to prove anything that he posted on his page, it would be found to be false. So there are other people we're going to talk about, and we're going to get involved with that and how much money I will allow them to make or lose by the $10,000, $1,000, $5,000 Fazio challenges. This is going to be an epic show. I'm going to give everybody on this show the ability to either earn $50,000 in challenges or lose $50,000 of their hard-earned money. Of course, like all my previous challenges, none will be taken. None can be taken, and most of the times the things people say they know themselves are totally false, lies, not even half-truths, but total deception. So we're going to get... Oh, my screen has been lighting up. Lighting the... hold on. Oh, my God. So let's go, it already starts. And if you remember some of my last 3 shows, I begged people not to super chat me. Not to super chat me. And I'm hearing stories that I am the biggest e-beggar in the Philippines. When in fact, oh my God, we have 2 famous bloggers on here. We have Escaping to the Philippines and Scott Del Fuego. Oh my God, look at this. We have some famous entities. Now, Larry, escaping to the Philippines. If you don't know who Larry is, we're going to get to the comments of Jack and Scott in a moment. If you don't know who Larry, and I think my friend Carl Vella calls him Big Head, Big Head, Bighead. If you don't know who Larry escaping to the Philippines is, he is a blogger that had, or it may have, I haven't checked out his page in a while, it may have some of the best videos in regards to his escapades in the Philippines, baby. Yeah, I gotta hand it to escaping to the, he has a very outstanding, outgoing, and aggressive personality, and he is one funny dude. So if you're not subscribed to Escaping in the Philippines, I would suggest you go there and check out his page, because some of his stuff is off the chain funny. And in my opinion, some of it is not so funny, but it's completely off the chain, all of it. So I guarantee. So Larry, thanks for stopping by. Thank you very much. So let's go to the comments. Jack Thompson is relentless. I can stupid chat, and I'm going to abuse him in a minute. I haven't gotten to Jack yet. I'm going to talk about Jack Thompson. He owes me quite a few pennies. Jack Thompson said, I once carved a wooden whistle that wouldn't whistle. Well, Jack, you know, if you want to have a whistle, that whistles, they have something called Jersey beach whistles, Jack. And the way they work is you go down to the shoreline and you find what is a Jersey beach whistle. And they work differently. They work differently than a regular whistle. You'll apply positive air pressure to a regular whistle, but with a Jersey beach whistle, you apply negative pressure. You inhale very fast, and hopefully it'll make a noise. If it doesn't make a noise, you might make a noise, but they work on negative pressure, Jack. So a Jersey beach whistle works on negative pressure, and I suggest perhaps you try to use your wooden beach whistle and maybe apply negative pressure to that wooden whistle. Maybe it works on the same principle as what is called the Bernoulli principle. Not the Bernoulli. Venturi principle. The Venturi principle is an increase of speed causes a decrease in pressure. So when air flows through a tunnel, the faster the air flows through a Venturi, which is curved like that, the pressure, the vacuum in the Venturi itself increases. So maybe it works on the Venturi principle. So Jack Thompson is lighting the flame of the stupid chat window. Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you very much, Jack Thompson. And the one sad part about Jack Thompson is, I told you I was going to say something, is that Jack Thompson had a friend named Jack Manning. His name was really John Manning. And Jack bought a $25 saw. This is a true story now. He bought a $25 Milwaukee saw. This is why Jack doesn't buy Milwaukee tools anymore. From a guy who wasn't doing that well. And the guy said he found a truckload of these saws that fell off the back of a truck. This goes back to 1980. And Jack bought one of those saws. And what happened is this fella, Jack Manning, took Jack Thompson's $25 and he went to a lotto store and bought lotto tickets with Jack Thompson's $25. And Jack Manning hit the lotto for $4.8 million. And that's why Jack Thompson does not buy Milwaukee tools anymore. And I don't blame him. I have another story about my friend Mo Mullins. And Some of these lotto stories are amazing. Mo bought the same ticket with the same numbers religiously for years and years. And I didn't go camping on this trip, but there was a camping trip for our area. And he was at the store preparing to leave on a Friday night. The bus was going to pick everybody up. And he had $5. And that was what his lotto ticket cost him to play. But instead of paying the $5 for the lotto ticket, he bought a 6-pack of beer and a pack of cigarettes. And that was on Friday night. And Sunday morning, when he woke up, he was listening to the lotto numbers on Mo always carried a radio around with him. He was one of the first people to carry a radio. Those, the ones that played the music loud back in the 70s or the 80s. And Sunday morning when he woke up, he heard the lotto numbers go off, and they were his lotto numbers, and he did not have the ticket. And that's a true story. I don't remember how many millions it was, but he would have been the only winner for a multi-million dollar lotto. So those are two true stories. So let's see what Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith. Welcome to the machine. Got to read Scott's comments first. Sometimes they're hard to pronunciate. Outside with a small fire pit, a Romeo Y. Juliet cabinet selection, and a couple of fingers of bourbon. With a cold Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. So commentary will be slow. Okay, so Scott Del Fuego is outside next to a small fire pit, a Romeo and Juliet Cabernet selection, and a couple of fingers of bourbon with a cold Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. So commentary will be slow. You're the only person, Scott Del Fuego, in my entire life, you're the only person besides my grandpa, Frank, that drank Michelob. That's what my grandpa drank, Frank. My grandfather, Frank, he drank Michelob. And that's all he drank. And I remember the Michelobs because they had the very wide mouths at the top of the bottle. I was wondering, do they still sell those Michelob bottles with the wide mouth? And that was the only bottle I ever remember having a wide mouth. There was another beer called Grosch, or Gros, and it was a German beer with a cork with the proper word would be a bale, B-A-I-L, a bale at the top. And the cork went into the bottle and the bale went over and locked down. So we'll find out in a minute. Thank you, Scott. So thanks for watching, Scott. Thank you very much. And thanks for the comments, because from what you went through the last 3 weeks to hear that you are relaxing, and I have read about what's going on in your portion of the world. It's an amazing thing. In fact, I was just discussing I'll send that to you in private. I was just discussing America just 15 minutes, no, 40 minutes before the show started, down to about 30 minutes before the show started. I was talking about America and how it's probably not a good place to move to, and how many of the bloggers in America wished that they had stayed in the Philippines or were in the Philippines. And we're going to talk about that also. I have had so many comments demeaning, slandering, maligning, and defaming my person as being equal to living in squatters, really in squatters environment, poor, e-begging on YouTube. So Erica Rain, wow, thank you very much, Erica Rain. Thank you. I always stop by your channel and give you a thumbs up, but I don't get too much involved with the YouTube community much anymore. Thank you for stopping by. Erica Rain, she's becoming a very famous YouTube blogger. In fact, she has a channel. She does a lot of live streams. If she's not live streaming, she's live streaming music or a picture. She does some programs on there. You might want to check out Erica Rain's. Okay, thank you, Erica. Erica Rain says, you get my support always, Bishop, and have a wonderful morning to you, host, and everyone. Thank you. Number 5 thumbs up from Erica Rain. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, I check out Erica Rain's channel. Very, very guapa, very beautiful Filipina who is starting to have a pretty interesting show. And if you're a Filipino or a Filipina, that is really cool because you'll be able to talk to Erica in your own language. So thank you for stopping by. And a big shout out to Erica Rain. What up, Big Head? How you been doing? I've been doing good, Larry. I could tell you what I've been doing, but I don't. I try to keep some things under my hat, so to speak, and some of the things that I've been doing lately, I really can't talk about on YouTube. There are certain things that I have been involved with that are personal and not YouTube material, but things are good, Larry. Things are very good. Aside from what you and I both know, those things aren't true. Some people are putting out some things about me. I wonder where they come up with this stuff. We're going to get to that in a moment. So let me go through the comments. Big escaping to the Philippines has to go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Larry. Take care, bro. He says, and I will say, take care, bro, to Larry. One of the few people I really want to meet when he comes to the Philippines. Mayon Buntang rabbis from Olala, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. How are you? I'm doing well. Scott is living a real man's life. Oh, Scott Del Fuego. In fact, Scott, we did go over some of the basics, what initializes you or what allows you to be in the real man's club in this world. And Scott's vocation is right there at the top of the list, aside from the fact that you have to honor Scott for being a veteran or in the armed services. So, as was Jack Thompson. So, Scott moves into the real man category in so many different ways. So many different ways. It's an amazing thing. Some of the people that were privileged, and I say privileged because very, very few people got my latest upload. Even the people at the higher levels of Patreon, or only the people at the highest levels of my Patreon community got the upload that I posted. And that we're going to talk about that, but it involved Barge Dragon and Point Huron, P-O-I-N-T, Point Huron Coast Guard. So only a very few people got that video, and there's a reason for that as well. I do have a reason for only posting it to my personal friends and or people that were members of my Patreon community before a certain date back in January, it might have been February. Whoever was a member of my Patreon community back before I made the new rules on Patreon, or the more prerequisites for what people get, they got the upload. The other people, may not have seen it on Patreon. I may have sent it out private email. I did post a private email for that video saying that there were only a few people that will ever see that video of Barge Dragon. So I do have at least 2 videos of Barge Dragon that I can't find, and I don't know if they're on YouTube without a title that I can search, or they might just be a number and I didn't title them. And I went through thousands and thousands of videos looking for those. What I do have is a drive in a box, in a box, in a box, that I have those videos that I can reload the videos of the actual hurricane force winds whilst I was on Barge Dragon and 17-foot seas. So that's going to happen soon, I hope. So don't think those are the only videos. Those are the only videos I could find. So thank you for the people that have made comments on those videos. I know that Blue Rose, in fact, of my 7,000 videos that are on YouTube, most of them remain private. A lot of them are on Patreon. Of my 7,000 videos on YouTube, Blue Rose says the Barge Dragon video that I sent him privately is now his #1 video of all the videos I ever posted. And Jack Thompson has the same type of feelings towards the Barge Dragon video. And anybody that's privy to have seen the Barge Dragon video knows that that video is special. It's dear to my heart. It was a very special day, and some special things happened, and I got lucky. I tell you, everybody knows that watched that video. I did get lucky. So let's go to Scott Del Fuego's next comment, and then we're going to try to get to my notes on my thing. And another thing, people that are successful in this life make notes. People that are not successful may or may not make notes. But when you have a lot of topic matter to discuss and you want to do it in order, especially time stamped in order, like the first $10,000 challenge I put out on YouTube was about my ebook, Angels on the Ark. So then the second one and the third one and the ones after that, they followed. If I don't put down show notes, I might get mixed up. Not that it makes a difference, because nobody on YouTube, not friend or foe, not troll or serious vlogger, if I post a challenge on YouTube, you can't win. It doesn't matter what you believe. See, that's the problem that some people have. They believe that what they believe is true, but the facts point in a different direction. There are people that believe if they believe something, therefore it must be true, but nothing could be further from the truth. We'll get involved with that in a minute. That's a flaw in the way people think. Just because, okay, I'll give you for instance, and I'll move on to the comments. Let's say you have a girlfriend, right? Okay. And it's Friday night, and typically Friday night is the day that you and your girlfriend go out to dinner. But your girlfriend calls you up and says a friend from high school that she hasn't seen in 10 years or 20 years stop by the office, and the two of them want to go out. And she's going to cancel your Friday night plans. Okay, for me that would be okay. But some people that have paranoid, schizophrenic thought processes, some people would believe that maybe their girlfriend is doing something nefarious, when in fact she just wanted to go out with an old friend from high school or even grammar school. So, is the thought process that goes on in that person's mind, is it legitimate? Could be, but there's no way of knowing. But some people will think like that and believe their girlfriend is really with another man when nothing could be further from the truth. And if you have to go that route to doubt where your girlfriend is or what she's doing, well then she probably shouldn't be your girlfriend. But the point of the conversation that I just expressed is that if you believe something in your mind, it doesn't make it true. So the people that are posting crap on YouTube about me being on a dating site, and then they put up a profile and even use my picture on the profile, and then post a bunch of garbage on the dating site, I'm going to tell you again, you guys can have at that. You can post anything you want on that fake profile. However, if you post something illegal where you're going to be investigated for something that you post on that dating site, here's what you should understand. If you say something that's against any law, either in America or the Philippines, they're not going to come and see me because you put my name on the dating site. What they're going to do is they're going to look at the IP address, and they're going to go see where the computer is registered or where that IP address is, and they're going to your house, not my house. So you guys posting all that crap on a fake dating site profile, you should understand, I can't stop you from posting lies and or deceitful things on the dating site, but if you say something illegal and you get investigated, it will be you who gets investigated, not me. So I have several people posting pictures of things that are not true. And, you know, I will not start long forming everything that's on YouTube about me. I don't care really what you post on your channel. Because even though your account is fake under a false name, and even though you set it up with maybe a burner phone or something like that, you set it all up so that it couldn't be traced back to you. Well, one post from your home computer on those fake sites, and they know exactly where you are. So the same with, tell you the truth, it's the same way as if you sign your name or you use a real email address. Well, it can only go back to your computer and your IP address. So if you want to post stuff on YouTube that's egregious or illegal, and you want to defame me in any way, shape, or form with those posts, I can't stop that. But what I can tell you is if you use your computer, even under a fake account name, the IP address is going back to your computer the same way it would go back to your computer if you use your computer or your email address to say something to someone that you shouldn't have said something to someone about. I'm trying to explain how the IP address works. It doesn't matter what name you use under these fake accounts. Just one post from your home computer or where the computer is registered to goes right back to you. And there's all kinds of names for stuff like that. I won't get involved with it right now, but they have names for things like that, and people can, in fact, make legitimate complaints. But who has the time to do that? Oh, that was a stupid question. I don't want to hear about it. Okay, Scott. Scott Del Fuego. Yeah, YouTube is cracking down, boy. I got to tell you, they're cracking down on... I am not getting comments sometimes for 3 to 5 days. I just saw my spam folder with comments from 6 days ago, and the comments only appeared today. So YouTube is cracking down on what they will play. Now, the interesting thing about Scott Del Fuego's comment is he says, I tried to post a video of a motorcycle ride, but YouTube recognized my radio playing Dirty Deeds in the background and canceled it. So my suggestion to you at that point would be, well, if you could get the video loaded, there's a video editing program in YouTube. You might be able to cancel out the song if it was important. Or here's what you could do. You could take that video, put it on your big screen television, let's say, and then take your cell phone, which I know you have a top of the line cell phone. Take it and put it in your wand and videotape the motorcycle video, but when the song comes on, shut the sound off. And then when the song is over, put the sound back on. So you'd be videotaping a video playing on your television screen, but remove the song. Just turn the volume of the song down while it's playing on the screen, and then turn the volume back up after the song is over. That would be one way to reconcile that problem. Another way would be to buy a video editing program, or even Movie Maker. Movie Maker is a free upload. You can put it on your computer for free, and it will take the sound out. You can dub over the sound, or make the sound silent, or replace it with a different song. I don't know, but that would be 3 ways to fix that problem. Scott just watched your video, outstanding, says Jack Thompson about Scott Del Fuego's motorcycle. Now, Scott Del Fuego has one of those big motorcycles. I'm pretty sure it's a Harley. I don't know much about motorcycles. One of the things that I know nothing about, actually, motorcycles, is motorcycles. I knew a little bit about dirt bikes. I knew a lot about mini bikes when we were kids, but motorcycles, not so much. So you guys are on your own with that commentary. Jack Thompson says, I agree with Blue Rose. Barge Dragon video should be made public. It's absolutely awesome. And it will one day. But for now, at a certain level on my Patreon account, this is what I always promised my Patreon members. Aside from after you move into the $10 level, I will call you if you need information about the Philippines, and I will give you any help you need in regards to moving your stuff here, flights, itineraries, especially places to go diving, swimming, snorkeling, and places that you may or may not want to vacation to. There's a lot of places in the Philippines. I wouldn't. Sabang, Philippines, 6 years ago. I went 4 years ago. Again, each time for 2 or 3 days. Well, once 5 days. I would never go back to Sabang, Philippines, because it's a small brown sand beach, beautifully clean. There's some fishing boats and stuff on it, but it wouldn't be the kind of vacation spot I would go back to for a third time. So I did enjoy Sabang. The advantage of going to Sabang is to go to the world's largest underground river. So if you're going to go to the world's largest underground river, or the entrance to the cave on the mountainside, then you got to stay in Sabang and take the jeepney or the pump boat. And that's the launching point for the Underground River tour. And it's the launching point for the jeepney to take the mountainous cave at the mouth of the river, where the original river went into the mountains and formed the cave, which is several kilometers long at the ocean level, but it went through the mountains. And when you get up to the top, it's pretty interesting. It's quite the hike. Not for beginners, that's for sure. And when you get into the cave itself, which takes about 2 hours to get up to the mouth of the cave, and you walk over to you walk into this huge entrance, and like 165 feet high and wide, and then you walk down in and make a penetration into the cave. And then you get to where the water originally, millions of years ago, dropped down through the rock and formed the waterway to where the water flows out of the cave several miles away, several kilometers away. You can drop a rock down into the drop where the water goes, but you won't hear it hit anything. And if there's no water, you still won't hear it hit bottom. So wherever bottom is at that cave, you're not going to hear a rock hit bottom. That's how far down it goes. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's definitely a slice of history in the Philippines. But I've done that twice, and I've also done the water side, the top cave opening and the water side. I've done both of those twice. So to go back to Sabang, I would highly recommend Sabang, but not for a third trip. So we have Warren H. And in honor, Warren H. is now on YouTube, baby. And let's see what Warren has to say. Let's see. Let's finish Jack Thompson's. Okay. Jack Thompson said Michael's Patreon page is the best in the business. So let me tell you something about Patreon. For the people out there, and there are some people calling me an e-beggar and a scammer, just because I put the world's greatest e-beggar or the world's greatest scams in the titles of my videos doesn't mean that it's true. In fact, it's only it's a play on words. So let's just go over again for the people with the very, very small brains. Patreon itself was created for all creators on all venues, to have people that wish to enhance a blogger's or a writer or an artist's activities. It's not an e-begging situation. Although some people sure looks like it when you go to their Patreon page, where they don't have anything on the Patreon page except how much money you can donate. There's no videos, there's no special uploads, there's no special artwork that's available. And there are still people that donate to Patreon so that the creative artist earns an income and continues vlogging or writing or creating art or sculptor or whatever it is. Now, I'll give you, for instance, and secondly, Super Chat, right? Super Chat, super stickers, that's not e-begging. I don't know why these small-minded cretins on YouTube don't understand that Super Chat is not e-begging. It is a way for creative artists to earn an income, to subsidize the loss of income, especially that YouTube has placed on YouTube creators. I mean, there are people like myself with several thousand videos posted to YouTube that have minimal incomes, not enough to pay the electric bill from the advertisements on YouTube. So people subsidize certain bloggers or vloggers' incomes with Super Chat. Now, I'm going to give you two, for instances, of people that are not e-beggars that collect 10 times the amount of Super Chat or Patreon or patronage from Patreon than myself, and God bless them both. So the first one we're going to discuss is Vinny Eastwood. He's an Australian vlogger. He does not work. He doesn't have a job per se. And he talks about politics, and he's got an interesting take on politics. He's from Australia, so he doesn't talk about American politics specifically, but he does talk about American politics better than most people on YouTube. So recently, his wife, 11 months ago, she got pregnant. And I've been watching him occasionally, and he started asking people for money for strollers and carriages and cribs and toys and hospital bills and doctor bills. And his income from his Super Chat and Patreon and PayPal paid in full for Vinny Eastwood's baby, the baby carriage, the baby crib, his wife's birthing, her hospital stay, all. Okay? So, is he an e-beggar? No. He's performing a function on the internet that people go to for either entertainment or information. He earns a living by doing what he does. So he's not an e-beggar. And that's what I have been classified as, an e-beggar. I put on a show. If you don't like what I put on, you can't change my show, whether it's comedy or satire. You can't change what you think my show should be determined as e-begging because you believe it, which goes back to the theory that if your girlfriend cancels your date on Friday night, she's not necessarily cheating on you. She may be with her girlfriend. So because a person, very famous, or Jack Thompson has a different word than famous for a very famous blogger, because you believe that people are e-begging does not make it so. It's only inside your perception of reality. It doesn't exist outside your perception of reality. Now, if you wanted to go just with YouTube in the Philippines, there's lots of people that have Super Chat ability or to earn income on AdSense. So let's take the second example. A Brit in the Philippines. He was a trolley driver, some sort of a cab or a truck driver in England, and he moved to the Philippines earning $500 a month. And he built up his channel to about 24,000 subscribers, and he puts on a show that I will go to and say hello and give him a thumbs up, but I can't watch. He'll put on a 13 or 14-hour live stream some days, and he asks people for things that he needs, and people give him the money to buy the things that he asks for. And that includes the money for a Brit in the Philippines to be able to pay for his two children's birthing, their toys, a computer, a television, air conditioner, furniture, and now the second floor of a house, because they enjoy a Brit in the Philippines show, and they enjoy listening to Chris, and they enjoy watching Chris and his children and his wife interact. They don't care that he's asking for money. He's not an e-beggar, according to the people that donate willingly. And when you classify me as an e-beggar, that was a mistake, by the way, that one particular group of people have consistently made, and it's been noted, not in these notes, but it is noted. And that was a mistake that you made, and I think that you shouldn't keep up your false accusations, but that's your prerogative. Just like posting, the people that are posting fake internet sites with me on a dating site. None of that is true. So let's go back to the comments. Jack Thompson said, Michael's Patreon is the best in the business. So now if you go to Vinny Eastwood's, welcome to the Hapsters. Now they're bloggers. They're bloggers that, they are legitimate bloggers that have a super chat button. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Hapster. They go swimming. They go to the beach in Hawaii. They're not afraid to get their feet wet. They go in the water and they show you videos of the rock jetties with the fish in the pristine waters, and they show you how the large apartment buildings, they earn a living. Well, they earn Patreon. And I'll always refer to Mrs. Hapster going to the local fresh vegetable or fresh gulai and food store. Gulai means vegetables. Mrs. Hapster made a fantastic video about the fresh foods and fresh vegetables that were available in Hawaii. And each item, unlike some people that walk through a vegetable market and go, oh yeah, those are tomatoes and those are apples. They sell apples here, and they sell potatoes here too, and they have red onions, but they're too expensive. Unlike those bloggers that don't take the time to describe an item, Mrs. Hapster picks up the item, shows you the item, then asks the vendor how much the item is, and then explains to you how much the item is in pounds or kilos. So that's an actual vlogger. So if someone goes to Mr. and Mrs. Hapster's channel and sees great content that's worthwhile, saying thank you, Mrs. Hapster and Mr. Hapster, thank you for taking the time to show other people what Hawaii looks like, then they deserve Super Chat or PayPal or any type of donation. So, digressing back, thank you, Mrs. Hapster. Salamat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Hapster. Salamat. If a person puts information about Hawaii, let's say a person lives in Hawaii, and they make videos about Hawaii, and they show you the foods that are available in Hawaii, and then they show you the beaches that are accessible in Hawaii, and they show you the parks in Hawaii, and they show you them doing walks, power walks in Hawaii, and exercising in Hawaii, and someone wants to give to them, that's not e-begging. And I give you all of that and 10 times more than the average vlogger gives in my Patreon account. Right now, there are more than 1,000 videos privileged, depending on your level of donation or pledge per month. So, one more, I'm going to digress back to Vinny Eastwood. Now, he's going to get this, I'm sure. 3 days ago, his car blew a head gasket, and the price to replace the head gasket from the mechanic, didn't give him a solid price, was between $2,000 and $3,000. And the car, he said, was not worth that much money. Now, for $2,000 or $3,000, that's a ridiculous amount of money to replace a head gasket. I don't care what kind of car it is, but that's an absurd amount of money. I blew a head gasket on 454s in my boat. And yeah, it takes about 3 or 4 days to take it apart, clean it up, and put a new gasket on. But for an automobile, you're standing on solid ground. Digressing, Vinny Eastwood said his car blew a head gasket, and he either needs a new car or the loan of a car that will eventually be donated to Vinny Eastwood. I haven't watched the video from him since then, but I guarantee you within a week, he'll get a car from somebody free of charge, either to use or to keep. So Why would someone call him an e-beggar for that? Well, according to some of the so-called, quote, famous, or as Jack Thompson says, infamous vloggers on YouTube, that would be e-begging. It's not e-begging if people give it to you voluntarily. So we're going to talk about e-begging, and then we're going to go to my show notes about $10,000 challenges down to $1,000 challenges, where if you guys are so sure you can prove that I'm lying to you, take the bet. I dare you. I should wager $10,000 that nobody will take a $10,000 challenge. That would be $20,000. And I would beat you every time. So Jack Thompson says, I agree with Blue Rose. Barge Dragon video should be made public. It's absolutely awesome. Well, I'll call you, Jack, and discuss why that's not made public, but I already told Warren, and it's going to stay private for a few more months. Okay, there's a new person here, Sunshine in the City. Welcome to the machine, Sunshine. Thanks for the comments. Yeah, you know, when you get old, your eyes go. Or they go. I had perfect reading until I was 55 years old. I didn't need glasses. And then one day, I needed glasses. Thanks for the comments. Sunshine in the City show. Jack Thompson gives Sunshine in the City some advice. Get bigger glasses. So with these glasses, you can see everything. I could even see the multiple donations in Super Chat, or what I call Stupid Chat, because all of the people that have donated to me for the last 3 or 4 weeks, all are well over the $100, $200 to $500 donations towards my channel and towards myself. Now, digressing back to what's on my Patreon page, that's even immaterial compared to some of the stuff that I only post to my personal friends. So Scott Del Fuego is saying, thank you to Jack Thompson. I just need to figure out how to edit slightly. Again, Scott Del Fuego, Movie Maker is a free program. And Daisy figured out how to work it in just a few hours and became really good at it. In fact, all shows that I have on YouTube that are edited are all from Movie Maker. Jeremy Burt says the motorcycles have small engines. I guess he's talking about the Philippines. That's true. They call a motorcycle here with 175cc engine. That's a motorcycle here. I did see, you won't see anything bigger than that. I did see the person that owns Giuseppe's Pizza has the BMW, I don't know what it is, 1200cc, I think it is. And that is 1.6 million pesos, $30,000. And there was a motorcycle in Alona Beach when I first got here, a full-dressed Harley, but he didn't ride it. He had it for sale. He was trying to sell it, in fact. And at another bar, One for the Road. There's a bar, One for the Road, that occasionally you'll see Harley Davidsons pull in there. It's a group of men that own Harley Davidsons that make a trip to One for the Road. Okay, so Warren says, hi, Michael, and all in the chat. Welcome, Warren. I did try to call you this morning, but I'll tell you who called me. You'd be surprised. Jack is saying hello to Warren. Scott Del Fuego. Hello, Warren. I ain't hop on, bro. Okay, so we do have a group of friends that we communicate with. I should ask you, Scott, if you wanted and you had time right now, I'll end the show so that, well, you can also call Warren on Skype. I don't need to end the show. So it would be something. I have not bothered you in your free time because I know how valuable your free time is, Scott. But it would be really interesting to get Jack and yourself and Warren and somebody else who you'd be really interested in saying hello to on Skype, and you guys can have a four-way conversation. So let's go on. Jack Thompson. Too quiet in here, baby. I don't care. I don't care. I had such a great morning. I had a great morning. My friends know what I've been doing, and I got a lot of that done over the last 3 days, and I also am ready to reinstall certain products, and that's going to happen probably tomorrow, because that's the day I have designated for that project. Sunshine in the city. No? Well, I have a large selection of videos, but I have certain videos that I would never post on YouTube. I could if I wanted to, some of which would remain monetized and some not. But some of them are just none of anybody's business. So they're posted at the $20 or above level, which most of my Patreon members are in that area of pledge. But you don't have to post what did you say there exactly? I guess to start Patreon, we remove our free videos. YouTube has made it hard to create anything. You can post Patreon. You could take the videos that have been demonetized off Patreon, and you can post those videos. I mean, you can take the videos that YouTube has removed your ability to earn money on, and then post them on Patreon. Let's see why we're not getting power here. It looks like I should be getting power. I don't know how much power I have left in the tablet. So Warren says it's 100% legal to collect Super Chat. No one is forced to make Super Chat. Yeah, well, that's true. I keep saying that. The people that are calling me an e-beggar, a scammer, a fraud. You people made a big mistake when you called me those names. And you will, in fact, be brought up to pay for your sins for calling me names that aren't true. Those things have not gone unnoticed. Scott Del Fuego, bourbon and branch water, a cold organic beer chaser. A fine cigar, my good friend Michael's take on life. I'd like to have 3 cigars and several drinks, but won't, because I control my wants. So another man who has the ability to control wants and desires. As opposed, see, this defines manhood. This is another definition of manhood that has probably not been discussed enough. A man knows what he's capable of. A man knows how to discern truth or subterfuge, and then can use it any way they want. But real men typically stick to the truth, not nonsense, not garbage verbiage on YouTube, not threats. Oh, I like the threats part. I like those the best, because those are the ones that leave the biggest lasting impressions. Some of those threats were even made against some of my challenges, or some of Warren H's challenges, that there were threats made stating this, that, and the other thing. Duly noted threats. So we'll get to that in a moment, because first I want to read the comments, and then I'm going to go to my show notes. So Scott Del Fuego, if anybody here on YouTube has self-control, it would be people of a certain vocation, of a certain station in life. Scott Del Fuego is in that category of people. And I would also say that because of some of the advice that Jack Thompson has given me, he has the ability to understand what losing one's frame of reference on YouTube, the detrimental aspects of losing one's frame of reference on YouTube would be to allow these trolls that are saying that Michael Fazio, via other names, either way, that is living like a squatter, really? Or living in poverty, really? I could honestly show you how much money I've spent in the Philippines, which would probably bury the pittance that most of the Philippines bloggers have spent in the Philippines itself. And at no point would I back down on that. I could even make a $10,000 wager that, for the most part, the monies that I spent in the first 5 years in the Philippines is considerable. I went on many vacations. I bought many different vacation packages for diving. Some of my diving packages were 5,000 pesos a day, some a little bit more, some a little bit less. But to hear that Michael Fazio is eating garbage foods and then bathing in a puddle, I would just love to hear some of that crap so that I could videotape it, like mano a mano. I would like to videotape that shit right face to face. I really wish that I could do that, and I wish that somebody would walk up and say, you're the guy that lives in a fucking puddle. I would love to hear that kind of crap. This way we could make a video, and I would publish it on those people in real life. They don't have what I call diarrhea of the mouth. And that's probably a good thing for me and for them, because those people that have the mouth, typically they have no self-control. If they didn't have diarrhea of the mouth, if I had diarrhea of the mouth, then I would probably have more shows banned from YouTube. So I have self-control like Scott Del Fuego. Yep, certain people have more self-control than others. I exhibited quite a bit of self-control not too long ago. And quite a bit of self-control. Believe me when I tell you, a lot of self-control. I have self-control. And you know that's true. All right, so let's get back listening to people talk stories about me living in squalor, bathing in a puddle. Why don't they say that kind of stuff to me face to face? That's a question you should all ask yourselves. And then we're going to go to my $10,000 challenges. A big question that you should ask yourself is why, when people see me at the ICM Mall, or when people see me at the Beacon Mall, or Tagbilaran itself, why they don't say that crap to me to my face. That's the biggest question that I have here on YouTube. And don't tell me about this, that, and the other thing. Give me an answer why you don't say that, or that to anybody else's face. You have a way, you vloggers, you trolls out there, you all have a way of saying. This morning I heard commentary about Roberto the Burn American Expat and what a this he was and what a that he was. I guarantee you, I know it for a fact. Well, I happen to like Roberto, number one, but number two, I guarantee you that 99% of the people that are running their mouth about Roberto the Burn American Expat would never say it to his face. Doesn't matter, even if the aggressive person and the probability of being able to beat up Roberto. If someone was that aggressive that they wanted to fight Roberto, they still wouldn't say those things to Roberto's face, because there's always the possibility that Roberto would surprise them and win the argument. So calling Roberto 150 pounds, or the fat guy in Texas, or calling Roberto this, that, and the other thing. You know, you could get away with that on YouTube, but then I hear the story that Roberto is going to die of a heart attack. What kind of evil thing is that to say about Roberto? What evil lurks inside the heads of those vloggers that say that Roberto is going to die of a heart attack? You know that I heard a story about myself that two bloggers have a wager going on. Now, it's probably not true, that I will die of a heart attack and win. What kind of crap is that? Why would I die of a heart attack, number one? And number two, what kind of crap is that to put on YouTube? And then you have people laughing about it. But again, they only laugh about it la 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 on YouTube. In real life, those people will be given the opportunity one day when I see them to say those things face to face. But they won't, because they can't. They don't have what it takes to say those things in real life. And well, they shouldn't. It's called having self-control. But on YouTube, I see people don't have any self-control, and they believe they can say anything they want in the YouTube blogging community. And they can, until they can't. Okay, so we'll read Scott Del Fuego's two comments again. Bourbon and Branchwater, a cold organic beer chaser. Never heard of that. A fine cigar, and my good friend Michael's take on life. I'd like to have 3 cigars and several drinks, but I won't, because I control my wants. Plus, at any given moment, Scott Del Fuego knows that he may have to go out and perform. And that is why his self-control exists. And that's why he's in a position that he is. He knows that at any given moment, he may have to go out and perform a specific function in life. And 3 drinks might impair that ability. And that's what self-control is about. Whereas you have people that have absolutely nothing worthwhile to do in life, and they could drink all they want. And you see that in Cebu everywhere you go. Every bar you go in Bohol, you see these people at 10 o'clock in the morning drinking beer after beer after beer, and then they're buying each other shots. 10 o'clock in the morning, they're hammered. They go home at 4 o'clock, they take a nap, or they go home after happy hour, take a nap, and they come back at 10 o'clock at night and start all over again. These people have no self-control. Why did they move to the Philippines? So they get drunk in a bar? Really? Scott Del Fuego says, however, relaxing with his bourbon and Branchwater organic beer chaser is a nice thing. It makes for a relaxing evening, which is needed after weeks of continuing turmoil. And he means every word of that. The Hapsters, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, you're not going to make any money on YouTube anymore, Sunshine in the City. There are people with 2,000 or 3,000 videos public that are all monetized, that are making... I've seen video bloggers with 3,000 videos public, would just use that. And from their video AdSense, sometimes they make as low as 30 cents a day on 3,000 videos, and up to, you know, $5 a day on 3,000 videos. And some people make $50 a day on YouTube if they have certain types of videos. But you're not going to make any more money starting out a YouTube channel. I have several other YouTube channels. Actually, one has upwards of 4,000 subscribers, and I don't do much on that channel, but I have several channels that qualify for Super Chat. So, but I'm only going to run one channel at a time. Scott Del Fuego, are Pink Floyd beggars because they charge for their music? That's a great question. Oh my God. Thank you, the Hapsters. Salamat, Mr. and Mrs. Hapster. I know you're probably not still with me, but thank you very much. No, Pink Floyd are not beggars because they charge for their music. Even though, and Pink Floyd still charges for their music. Every time you play a Pink Floyd song, they get money. Same like with us with Super Chat. Is an architect a beggar because he charges for his drawings? No, he performs a function in life, Scott Del Fuego. A lawyer because they charge for their thoughts and legal interpretations with hope that their thoughts or interpretations are going to be beneficial or not beneficial for their clients. So a lawyer, if you want to know my opinion about lawyers, I can't post that on YouTube. There are certain things that you can say and you can't say, but what I have experienced with lawyers is they get paid whether they win or lose, number one, and number two, you don't know if they're telling you the truth about what they're saying. I had a lawyer back in 2001 tell me something that was not the truth. And that took it took just over 7.5 years for the case I had to be determined, and I won. But what the lawyer told me day one through day 6 years was all lies. My lawyer lied to me on a daily basis. In fact, my lawyer lied so much that the Florida Bar Association made my lawyer, demanded that my lawyer give me back $6,000 of the $12,000 cash I gave my lawyer. My lawyer had to refund my money because he lied to me, and it was proven that my lawyer lied to me, and he had to refund my money. Plus give me 1,700 pages of documents that were recorded as part of the case and sign a waiver that he would never attack me for more money. And that demand was made by the head of the Florida Bar Association that called up my lawyer and said, here's how this is going to work. You're going to give Mr. Fazio back $6,000 of the $12,000 he gave you, a copy of all 1,700 pages in documents and court orders and so on and so forth, and release Mr. Fazio from any future costs or any he can't attack me anymore for money. So I would say, based on that, and based on a lawyer that I dealt with in the Philippines that said the initial charge for a particular product was going to cost 3,500 pesos, and at the end of the day, it was 13,500 pesos, and nothing changed except the price. So I don't trust lawyers, and I don't trust lawyers to tell you the truth. Both lawyers on both sides of any case, they're going to tell you that they're going to win. But that's not always the case. Only one person can win. It's like going into a boxing match. You know, two people can enter into a ring for wrestling or boxing. Typically, unless it's what's called a draw, and that doesn't happen so often, typically one person wins and one person loses. And that's just the way it is in a boxing ring or in a court case or a trial or even a deposition or a summary judgment. Those things only can go one way or the other, especially if you are being misled by your lawyer. For some reason, I don't know why, but I have discovered that all lawyers lie to their clients. That's my personal experience. No lawyer is going to say, we can't win, but if you want to hire me, I'll take your money. No lawyer is going to ever say that. They're going to say, we can win. We're definitely going to win. That might be true, but there's no guarantee on that. And the fact that a lawyer will guarantee you that they are the best lawyer for the job and that they can do this thing, it may be true, but it doesn't mean it is true. So Scott, to answer Scott's question, are Pink Floyd is the name of a musical group, that's why it's not plural. Are Pink Floyd beggars because they charge for their music? ? Is an architect because he charges for drawings that may or may not be used. A lawyer because they charge for their thoughts and legal interpretations. It's just their interpretation is what Scott is saying. It may not be the truth. It's their twisted version of the interpretation that they twist to make it sound beneficial. And it may even be beneficial, but it doesn't mean it is beneficial. So to answer Scott Del Fuego's question, is a lawyer an e-beggar? No, they're not e-beggars. They're entitled because they provide a product for a person. Pink Floyd provides a product, and so do architects. So no, people that get money, you don't have to hire those people. Moving to the... we had the fedora, earns $10 today. The fedora. And nothing goes better with a fedora than a pair of yellow sunglasses. Thank you very much, Warren H. Warren, we have a special addition to our conversation after the show. Very special edition. Salamat, Warren. So, Warren H., I should discuss Warren H. and myself and our new program that we're going into. Now, Warren is coming to the Philippines. Let's see, what is today? So Friday, Warren went to the post office in Australia and paid $75 to have his passport renewed. And Warren is coming to the Philippines to pick out bathroom fixtures and floor tiles to see what's available. If he doesn't like what's available, he'll ship what he wants to be placed into the Warren H. Pavilion. Warren is also going to come to the Philippines to what they call reconnoiter the area. He's going to reconnoiter the area. Reconnoitering is to scope out, to review, to look oversee where he's going to live and if he wants to live here. And if he wants to live here, then Warren and I are going to a lawyer and we're going to sign documents stating certain things. So there will be several different legal issues to go over with Warren when he comes to the Philippines. Now, depending on whether or not he wants to stay here, what he wants to happen, what can. And Warren is going to be a semi-permanent resident of the Philippines soon. Maybe. Going to happen. Looks like it's going to happen. So Warren is coming to the Philippines, baby. We'll have to get Warren something special when he comes here. The Hapsters are sending love. They are still here. Mr. and Mrs. Hapster. If you're not subscribed to Mr. and Mrs. Hapster's channel, they are actual bloggers. They go out, they do live shows from the beach in Hawaii. Imagine a blogger going to a beach in Hawaii and then going in the water and then showing you pictures of them in the water. Oh my God, Mr. and Mrs. Hapster do that all the time. Thank you, Mrs. Hapster. Sending love, love, love. Scott, turmoil is sometimes needed to remind us that we have become too complacent. It keeps us sharp. That's true. And we have turmoil. And then I'm going to go straight over to my comments, my notes. I saw that. I heard that story, that certain bloggers, quote unquote bloggers, don't get enough commenters, and that's probably that was true in that respect. There were several other things that were also true in that particular venue, but I'll talk about that with you when we're done on the show. Thank you for reminding me about that show. Quite an interesting show. Let's see. Oh God, we have Super Chat. Scott Del Fuego put up a link. I hope that's his link to one of his videos. Please, by all means, click a link from Scott Del Fuego. Wow. Billy Strings, Turmoil and Tinfoil from Scott Del Fuego. That's the link. Music City Roots. This dude is setting up a whole new paradisium for bluegrass guitar. Just like Doc did, or Tony Rice did, or Jimi Hendrix, or Stevie Ray Vaughan. Can I get a witness? Okay, so this is a group that Scott is enjoying. I will post the link. First, I'll get the name. I'm gonna give you the name as Scott did. So typically, what I do, Scott, is I copy the name and I post it in the comments section of the video. Then I go to the top of the page and I copy that and I put it underneath the title. Then I grab all of that and copy that. Okay? Then I'm going to go back Then I'm going to go back to my home page. Sounded interesting. I can't turn my tablet around. Otherwise, I would. And I'm losing the connection. Then I'm going to go back to my home page. Okay. I'm going to post that information that Scott posted 3 times so that you can see the music that Scott Del Fuego, Warren, and Jack are interested in. Thank you, Scott. Please, by all means, if Scott Del Fuego posts a link, it's probably a great link to go to and check out. Okay, so we are down pretty much. Yes, Scott Del Fuego, he's a great guitarist, says Warren H. Now, Warren would know about guitarists. I won't publicize why I know Warren is a good guitarist, but he is. Scott Del Fuego, mine is 114 cubic inches. Michael is right, Harley Davidson. That's, now, 114 cubic inches is typically, when I was young, 100 cubic inches meant 100 or so horsepower. But I know it's a lot more than that now. So it could be 175 horsepower. Jack Thompson. Next week will be a Super Chat extravaganza. I'm just waiting for my stimulation check. So, yeah, I could do a stupid Super Chat or Super Chat stupid Super Chat day. And that would guarantee, well, my last month's revenue, for those who are interested, I've already showed most of my friends, for Super Chat, earnings on YouTube, it was up, not 100%, it was up 192%. And take my word for it. If nobody super chatted me or stupid chatted me for a couple of weeks, it wouldn't bother me one bit. I'd still do my normal shows at my normal time because I have things to say. I didn't even get to my show notes yet, but I will. Scott Del Fuego says, a shrink would cost me $300. This relaxation and conversation is more valuable mentally. If I choose to reward it, it's my decision. Thank you, Scott. Well, yeah, because this is what people on YouTube, and Scott Del Fuego rewards me as a member of my Patreon page every month for going on 2 years now. Okay? That's an amazing thing in and of itself. And I have more than 1,000 videos on Patreon that are not on YouTube. Nobody has to be a member of my Patreon community. In fact, I had a very nice gentleman become a $50 member of Patreon, raised up from $20. He stayed on for the entire 2 months or so. And that he's a new member of my Patreon community. So he's, as far as I know, he's still there. So there are people that are, and I have another man named, I'll just tell you his name is Michael. He's been donating at one of the highest levels for 2+ years. Doesn't want anything. When I ask him if he's coming to the Philippines, says no. Can I call you on the phone and talk to you? He says no. 2 years at a very, very generous donation on Patreon and doesn't want anything. I don't even know who this man is. I don't have his phone number. And there are many people on my Patreon page the same way. They just donate so that I will continue to do my thing on YouTube. And occasionally, they will see something very personal, like what I posted on Patreon this week at the highest levels. And my pre-existing Patreon members. Warren says, when you snitch, Warren Warren remembers when you snitch. We had a sign in Key Largo. This is classic. This is classic Florida Keys. The sign is 4 foot wide and 4 foot high, and it was made by a professional sign maker. So it wasn't like a paintbrush sign. It says, well, what it said is not what I could say on YouTube, but basically it said, when you snitch on your neighbor, dig 2 holes, one for you and one for him. And the sign was done in beautiful lettering, red and black on a white background. And the sign, and you clear as day, it says, when you snitch, dig 2 holes, one for you and one for him. And that sign went around Key Largo from before I bought my house in Key Largo, which is in my show notes. I'm going to get to that in a minute. From before I bought my house in Key Largo, I saw that sign in some obscure backyard down around mile marker 68. It was, I forgot the name of the key. And then I saw the sign in Pirates Cove. And then I saw the sign up at the north end of Key Largo. And then I saw the sign, and the guy who was moving the sign around at the time was the inspector, one of the regulators or code enforcement agents would move the sign around from job site to job site. In other words, if somebody snitched on their neighbor, the code enforcement officer would bring the sign to the guy who got snitched on and ask the person if he wanted to place the sign in his backyard or in the front of his house. And he gave him the option to keep the sign for a couple of days or a few weeks. And whoever got snitched on would put the sign in the front of their house or the back of the house. I lived on the water, so I knew the snitch came from across the water. Didn't do any good that he snitched on me, other than the fact that after I put the sign up, well, shortly after that he moved. He was moving to another location, bought a bigger house. But then the sign went to the next guy who got snitched on, and it was actually the code enforcement officer that was offering the service of the sign. There might have been even more than one sign, because that sign was everywhere. So yeah, Warren made a point of reminding me, when you snitch, said the sign, make sure you dig 2 holes, said the sign. One for the person you snitched on and one for yourself, said the sign. The sign says, kind of like Simon Says. Jack Thompson said, if you are accused of being an beggar, be the best e-beggar that you can be. Salamat. We try to achieve. We are overachievers when it comes to certain things. Scott Del Fuego, from the vocation that Scott Del Fuego interprets the sign from, he says snitches end up in ditches, so I've heard. Now, where I grew up in New York, I've heard the same similar stories. Thank you, Scott Del Fuego. I've seen them end up in ditches, says Warren. Now, Warren was a police officer in Australia, so Warren knows firsthand that sometimes snitches end up in ditches, says Warren H. Fine imported salami. Oh, God, what I would give for a piece of frickin' Genoa salami. Not the kind of crap that they had at the Brooklyn market. I'm talking real Genoa salami, seasoned. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Scott is talking about the guy. We call him the guy. The guy who said, I eat jingig or some kind of crap that's like number 9 jingig. Jingig is what they grind up all the parts of all the animals that they don't eat when they butcher, and they grind it into like a paste, and they sell it. and it has some nutrients in it, and the very poor people of the Philippines eat that stuff. Well, somebody said that's what I eat. Now, I will show you. Well, I don't need to show anybody anything, but I eat very good, and I don't appreciate somebody saying I eat garbage food. I don't really appreciate even less that someone says I bathe in puddles. I gotta tell you, I know for a fact. I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen people that want to say shit like that, but won't say it because they're smarter than that. They're smarter than saying shit like that. Do you realize that if you offend somebody by saying something like that, it's not nice? It's not a nice thing to do. Do you realize that it's not a nice thing to do? I could use other words, but I'm just using nice words, but it's probably not a good thing, good or nice. So I do eat well. I just made a huge pot of cabbage and pork, and I bought a 1-gallon container back from New York of dried onion chips. Really cool. I mean, it actually tastes like onions too. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. Hold on. It'll take about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we are. Rather than buy onions and chop them up every day and then cook them in oil, because the oil has a lot of calories in it, this little container that you see the spoon in there, this little container came from New York, and here's the label, and it's 1 gallon of minced onions dried. And you can put this in soups or salads, but you have to let it sit in the vinegar and olive oil for a few minutes, like maybe 20 minutes, and then you mix it in your vinaigrette dressing. This is really cool. So I eat well. Now, you cannot buy imported salami in the Philippines, unfortunately. Well, actually, you can buy something that says Genoa salami on it. It's like $20 a pound, and it's already sliced, so it already hit oxygen, has already hit it and destroyed the flavor. There's a supermarket in the ICM Mall. I don't know how it survives. But they sell imported cheeses and salamis, but at a price. I never, even in New York City delicatessens, I've never seen prices as high as the prices of the food at the delicatessen opposite the candy and tobacco store in the ICM Mall. I've never seen such high prices. $20 per pound, not kilo, for imported salamis and certain cheeses. So $38 a kilo for a salami, but they only sell 2-ounce packages of this stuff. I eat well. Warren says, I used to be able to hold pee for 12 or more hours when necessary. That's self-control. Oh yeah. Anybody who has no self-control over their bodily functions isn't worth a damn in my book. Because I got to tell you, there's been places, there's places that it's not convenient for you to be holding it. Suck it up, baby, suck it up. But there are also people that have habits that need to be satiated. A nicotine habit that needs to be satiated and can't be done without satiating the nicotine habit is no self-control. Now, I don't care whether you have self-control or not. I have it. Now, would I want to have a cigarette right now? Nope. Because I'm doing something else that I find more enjoyable than smoking a cigarette. And I might not have a cigarette when I end the live stream. And I might, but that would be up to me. But I would never, ever, 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 not one time in 2 years plus, did I ever do a live stream and say, whoa, I got to go have a cigarette. I can't control myself. I never did that. Just like since day one, I told you that's the truth. Whoa, we have thunders, baby. Since day one, I told you Mr. Trump was never going to build a wall, and he never did. I was right. Right, Mr. Trump? That's right, Fazio. You were right about not building a wall. That was all baloney. Bologna and cheese, not salami and cheese. Yeah, maybe. And you never prosecuted Mr. Obama, did you? Nope. I never had any intention of prosecuting Obama. That was just so I would get elected. And what about Mrs. Clinton? Heck no. No way. Want to deal with the Hillary? No way. So I was right about that, just like I'm right about self-control, just like Warren is right about self-control. And he made the circle, the upload circle. So yes, well, bikers don't play a bit. We know what it's about. Warren H. is a decorated police veteran in Australia, and for 7 years, Warren was a motorcycle police officer. So that's something that you didn't know. Jack Thompson said, old chicken legs. Jack Thompson said old chicken legs would last 1 day on my crew. I'd actually pay him triple. So Jack Thompson is making a wager that whoever this guy Old Chicken Legs is wouldn't do what Jack Thompson's crew is required to do for a day, not 1 day. And that would be whatever is necessary to get done. So Jack Thompson builds a lot of log cabins. Jack Thompson builds log cabins, and when Jack Thompson builds log cabins, he uses men's equipment like chainsaws and things like that to build those log cabins. So he probably put whoever Old Chicken Legs is on the end of a chainsaw and tell them to go notch logs. And I'd like to see that myself. That'd be worth paying for. That would be worth paying triple. That would be worth paying triple. Thanks, Jack. Scott Del Fuego. Warren H., were I in place of another, the tenor and pure calm of that comment would cause me to take pause. However, I imagine it will probably make more empty yapping from behind a computer. Yeah, baby. That shit ain't never gonna end, Scott. Jack Thompson said, I watched Scott's video. I could hear Michael Fazio's live stream playing in the background. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Warren. Now, we're going to go to my notes. I'm going to try to get right down to the bottom. I'm going to really head down to the bottom. I got these notes with all these $10,000 challenges and $1,000 challenges. All you people out there are cowards that you will not take my challenges. That's what I comment. This is what a comment section of a live stream looks like. Oh, this is what a comment section of a live stream looks like. Michael interacts with his viewers. I do try to do that. Well, my viewers I find interesting. Lawyers, says Warren H., are just professional liars at the end of the day. That's all. And I gotta say this about lawyers. I, in my experience, have never hired a lawyer that told me the truth. Never. ever, not once. It didn't matter whether the lawyer was doing a business deal for my house. They would push it through on the closing paperwork that shouldn't have been allowed to go through. I should have been able to get a discount on the house because of a certain infringement on my boundaries of my property, and the lawyer made like it didn't happen, and it cost me 7.5 years in the courtroom because the lawyer lied to me about what was real and what wasn't real. So in my experience, I've never met a lawyer that didn't lie to me. You might find out if you hire a lawyer that they don't lie to you, but that's not very probable. Warren says a man does a few lessons of karate when he is 7 years old. Then when he is in his 60s, watches MMA and thinks he's a tough guy, says Warren H. With eyes of steel, says Warren H. He might just get beaten by a man he thinks is lesser than him, says Warren H. Well, see, that's the thing about going into a ring. No one knows what the outcome is going to be. When Butterbean got into the ring with Mike Tyson thought he was going to knock Butterbean out cold in the second or third round. And that didn't happen. He knocked him down, but he didn't knock him out. So surprise, surprise. No one knows what's going to happen when you enter the ring. I would never, ever publicly be so bold as to say what the outcome was going to be. Probabilities are different than outcomes. But when you are so absolutely effing sure that this is going to be the outcome, you should take your life savings and wager that money on any particular event. If you have the psychic ability to prevail, who's going to win the basketball game? Who's going to win the football game? Take that psychic knowledge, buy a lotto ticket, and wager everything on it, because you're going to be wagering all on something that's a sure thing. Or don't wager anything. And let's go to comment number of my notes. Let's see what comment number that is. I'll go to my show notes for the first time, being that Warren brought it up. Let's go to my show notes. The first challenge, the first 10,000 Fazio challenges gone unanswered. That's to prove some guy out there with inside his head said I plagiarized my book, Angels on the Ark. So I wagered $10,000 10 years ago to anybody that proved that my book was plagiarized. Recently, I wagered several $1,000s to prove that my book was plagiarized. And what I hear is crickets. That's my first challenge. So we won't talk about my second challenge. But so that's the first one. The house, the cobra, the formula. Number 7. Warren Hunt, this is true now. You guys out there, get this through your tiny little minds. This is a legitimate wager. A legitimate, by the way, legal wager that was offered, not demanded, not reprimanded, a legitimate offer for two grown men to meet in Cebu, get into a boxing ring after they have a full medical checkup, and they sign a waiver relinquishing any and all obligations from the opponent for medical expenses or damages done. So Warren H., here's the offer. Warren H. offered first $5,000 and $3,000 with the caveat that both myself and another famous, or as Jack Thompson says, this is Jack Thompson calls this man an infamous blogger, according to Jack Thompson. But Warren offered a very famous YouTuber $5,000 to get into the ring with Michael Fazio. $3,000 if he loses, $5,000 if he wins. But Warren also made it clear that both people would sign a waiver of damage for the transportation to the ring, hotel, food, transportation from the hotel to the ring, all expenses for a ring doctor, a cut doctor outside the ring in case someone got seriously hurt. Warren made this wager understanding that both people would sign a waiver against any physical damage. But Warren would also pay for all medical expenses, including dental, if that occurred as well. That was his first offer, $5,000 and $3,000. Anything that you have ever heard other than that is not true. When Warren realized that one of the people, and not me, was not up to agreeing to that agreement, Warren offered a higher incentive. This is true now. First of all, you need to understand that Warren is serious, number one. Second of all, you need to understand that Warren's fiscals allow him to do this. That's two. So this is a true story. So Warren upped the prize money to $10,000 for the winner and $7,000 for the loser. But both offers also had an additional caveat. Both men enter the ring, but there is no reason whatsoever that the men have to fight. None whatsoever. There is no clause in the contract that Warren is willing to have his attorney write up. There's no clause in the contract that says those two people have to fight. Either myself or the opponent can go in the ring, touch gloves in the middle of the ring, documented, and walk out of the ring and still take the $7,000 prize money or the $3,000 for the initial offer. But any story that you have heard counter to what I just stated is not true and is not real. It's not based on reality. The reality is, as I stated, Warren will pay for all expenses to get to the ring, hotel accommodations and food, the cost of the ring, the cost of a videographer to videotape the event, the cost of a ring doctor, the cost of a bellman, the cost of an ambulance waiting outside, the cost of a regular doctor, and provide a waiver for both parties to not hold each other responsible for any damages done to the other partner. In addition, neither one of the two people have to fight. Anyone can jump in the ring and jump out and receive the secondary prize money, second place prize money. So anything that you heard, for any reason, for any thought process that went on to my potential opponent, anything that they said, contrary to what was just said, probably is not the truth. And Warren will probably be back on YouTube when I go back over to the channel and tell you that the offer still stands. Probably. I don't know, because I have to go back there. Right now we're incurring a storm, so I don't even know. Yep, okay. Ed Van Hagen. That's why many lawyers become politicians. Same skills required. Liars. Liars are what lawyers are. Liars. If you don't believe that, go to any, I don't care what courtroom you go to anywhere in the world. Go see the parties after the case has been determined, won or lost. Both both lawyers from both parties will both say, my lawyer said I couldn't lose. That's what both parties are going to say, because they lie. Somebody's lying. So maybe your lawyer's lying, maybe my lawyer is lying, maybe they're both lying. Warren is going to bring an anchor with him when he gets to the Philippines. I'll provide you. I have a nice mushroom anchor that I took off one of my canoes, my kayaks. Oh, no. Warren, no, Mrs. Hapster owns a house in Hawaii also. But she's the only blogger in Hawaii that ever made videos of the house they own. Many people that live in the Philippines lived in Hawaii, but there's no video footage of that time frame. Maybe because they didn't have video cameras then, or maybe just because the person wasn't into vlogging. But Mrs. Hapster is a legitimate vlogger. Warren wants to see my cabbage and pork. I just made this. I'll take it out. I put it in the refrigerator about 3 o'clock this morning. I made it. Hold on. I'll show it to you guys. You deserve that. You deserve that. And I'll show you a little pork also. Pork. Come here. Come here. Okay. So I'm going to show you how the garbage that I eat. I'm going to show you the garbage that I eat. That I got one fresh pork that was just slaughtered about a week ago. So I put them in half-pound bundles. This would be a pound and this would be a half pound. So if I'm going to have a guest, I take out a pound and I'll cook that up. And then what I do with that pork is I put it, well, I'll either fry it up, sear it up with some butter and those onions, or I put it in a pot. Well, no, I put it in with I'm very happy that I eat like this too, Byron. I don't eat potato chips. I don't eat crap off the street, some of the street food. I don't eat any of that shit. I don't eat processed cheese. I don't eat processed meats. I don't eat those red frankfurters. I don't eat any of that shit that some people eat. But I do eat good. So I'll show you my pork product right here. I'm going to pick this camera up very carefully, and I'm going to show you. I have a 1.5 gallon pot. I think that's too much light. Yeah, that's too much light. I have a 1.5 gallon pot of pork, cabbage, mixed in with a small amount of spaghetti, although it looks like a lot, but that was on top. And this is my meal that I have, and if I want to have eggs, I'll mix in, I'll fry up some eggs and I'll put this on the side. But I don't eat any of that processed garbage meat they sell here in the stores. Now, nor do I eat any of the cheese that they sell in the store. I used to, but that stuff is macahilo, it's poison. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to say that one thing about the processed food here in the Philippines, it's being filled up with some kind of poison. And I'm not kidding about that. They are putting something in all the foods, all the processed foods in the Philippines. They are putting something in the processed foods. You can believe what you want because you want to believe it. But I am telling you that the processed foods in the Philippines, and I don't give a crap what it is. It could be candy. Certainly, beyond any doubt, every kind of soy sauce has some sort of poison in it. Every salt that they call natural salt in the Philippines has poison in it. Now, how do I know this? I've told you 2 years now, I've had a compartmentalized bacteriological infection on my foot. When I went back to New York, in 2 months it healed up. When I moved back to the Philippines, I started eating Philippines food again and drinking bottled water. The infection came back. I went to distilled water and stopped eating salt and soy sauce. The infection went away. Well, 2 weeks ago, all the infection was gone. My skin was almost back to the normal pink color on my foot and on my leg. And 2 weeks ago, I added salt from the Philippines and soy sauce from the Philippines. And every day for 2 weeks. So basically, I didn't even use a gram of soy sauce. And 2 weeks ago, I started using salt and soy sauce in the Philippines again. And the infection, where it was on my foot and on my shin, my foot swelled up. The original wound, exactly where the original wound started throbbing one night. Throbbing. The wound started throbbing from using salt and soy sauce. So I said, let me see where this goes. It's 2 weeks now. A little salt or a little soy sauce, one or the other, and sometimes both. And I'm talking a minimal amount of salt. And the wound on my foot from 2 years ago, from 8 months ago when it healed, the wound on my foot opened up exactly where the first wound was, on my shin and on my foot. They are poisoning or putting something in the food that for my body is poison. Anybody that doesn't believe it, I don't care. How do I know this? Because I have 10 pounds of Morton salt in a box, in a box, in a box that I can't get to because it's buried. But I had all the salt I could ever hope to have in America, Morton's crystal salt, and didn't affect my foot one bit. In fact, when I went back to America, that's when my foot healed up. So I know that something is in the salt in the Philippines and something is in the soy sauce in the Philippines that is causing my infection from 8 months ago to reestablish itself. So I have to stop again. But I don't eat garbage. And also, one more thing, those red Frankfurters. In January, I bought like 2 kilos of those red Frankfurters. And I tried them. And they didn't really have much flavor, but I hadn't had a Frankfurter in a long time. And I bought some bread, and I have mustard. And I ate those 2 kilos of Frankfurters over the course of a week. Well, my foot swelled up like you wouldn't believe. It didn't open up, the wound didn't open up, but my foot swelled up the size of a football after about the 4th day. So I gave them to my neighbors. Whatever's in those Frankfurters, for me, I'm allergic, or for me, it's poison. You guys got to understand, I eat well, but I don't eat garbage. And listening to people say that Michael Fazio eats like a squatter or lives in squatter conditions, go ahead and say that shit to somebody, not me, but go ahead and say that shit to somebody to their face and see how many people react and what different ways people react. I want you to do that. I want you to make a video of the whole process. Say the words that, okay, let's say, now in the beginning of this video, I gave Peter Van Diver a big shout out. Peter Van Diver is doing great. Looks like his mind is clear. His ability to verbiage in his videos, what he was talking about, he's doing great. Go ahead now and say to Peter that he was this, that, or the other thing, because I never said anything bad about Peter. Nothing real bad. I mean, we had our disagreements, but I never said that Peter was this, that, or the other thing. But I've heard people say some of the most egregious things about Peter. Go ahead and say it now that he's back up to 230 pounds of manhood, or even when he was at his lowest performance in the Philippines. Still, people didn't walk up to Peter Van Diva and degrade him, because they just don't do that. Even if they think they could get away with it, they really won't do that. And there's a reason for that. You don't know what Peter Van Diva is capable of in any physical condition. Forget now that he's back up to looking like a big, healthy, strapping man. But even when he wasn't, you still don't know if you could get away with saying something like that to Peter's face. You people out there, you're big tough guys. Yeah, you're big tough guys. But when it comes to taking a challenge, prove that my book is plagiarized. I heard another guy, another famous, or as Jack Thompson said, infamous blogger say, I never owned a house in Key Largo. $10,000 says I owned a house in Key Largo. Warren is back up on the board here. Oh, Scott, Michael's cabbage and pork look so nice, says Warren. Much rather eat that than frozen Jenny. I won't. I have, you know what? I was telling Warren this the other day, Scott. When I was a child, my mom used to buy frozen hamburgers. Since I moved out when I was 19, I have never bought a TV chicken dinner or turkey dinner, frozen turkey dinner. I have never bought Morton's fish sticks. I have never bought a frozen hamburger. I have bought hamburger meat and frozen it and made hamburgers. But I don't think in my entire life since I moved out, since I was 19, I would say I personally bought and consumed, I would actually say less than 20 pounds of frozen vegetables or meats. Now, I bought frozen turkeys because that's how turkeys come. But I don't think I've bought 10 pounds of frozen vegetables since the day I was born. Me, personally. I won't eat that crap. Tommy says, hello, Super Mike. How are you? Welcome to back to the machine, Tommy. I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the comment. Super. Hi, Super Mike. How are you? Thank you very much. If anyone out there thinks Michael does not have $10,000 to wager, you have to remember, I am his backer, says Warren H. And I know he can't lose. I've seen all the evidence / proof. Now, that could be taken pretty much in every direction. I owned a house in Key Largo. Warren has seen the evidence and proof to that effect. I owned an Ocean Racer. Warren just recently saw my Ocean Racer the day it was delivered in Good Friday maiden voyage. Go to you people out there that don't believe us. Go Google this. Google, not YouTube. Good Friday maiden voyage. Go ahead. I dare you. Now, remember, Warren is my backer, and he can't lose. Warren has seen all the evidence and proof of myself owning a Cobra Mustang, or an Ocean Racer, or a house in Key Largo, or a barge with a crane, or a pile driver. No one can beat me in my $10,000, $1,000, $5,000 challenges. All you can do is lie about what you believe the challenge was. The challenge was, from Warren H., 2 men sign a waiver for damages done to the other person, the opponent. 2 men travel expenses, 2 men hotel expenses, 2 men food expenses, 1 ring doctor, 1 cut doctor, 1 ambulance waiting. The rental of the ring, the renting of a videographer, and $7,000 to just get in the ring, touch gloves, and jump back out. You don't even have to fight. Any other scenario that you have heard or reason to not fight in the ring is not true. It's just not true. There doesn't have to be a fight. There just has to be two men walking into the ring and one man touching the other man's gloves, and one guy can jump out of the ring if that's what he feels self-preservation looks like. He can touch gloves and jump out of the ring. Doesn't have to fight. So at that point, what would be lost? A bruised ego. And we know how much that would hurt. The offer, Warren, I knew he was going to say this. The offer is still available for the tough guy to meet you in the ring. I'll even raise the money to $15,000 for the winner and $10,000 to the loser with 2 O's. Loser. That's getting a little bit excessive. But Warren wants to see 2 men enter, and under any circumstances, 2 men enter. And any circumstances, 1 man leaves. So anything you hear, this, that, or the other thing, superseded by Warren's comment or what I just said, anything that you hear, it's not, and I even checked legally. I checked the legalities of 1 man, Warren H., making 2 men an offer to get into the ring. This isn't the Gladiators. We're not demanding anybody gets in the ring and fights lions. I even checked before. The offer is a legitimate and legal opportunity for 2 men to earn a living. This is not a scam. It's a legitimate thing. 2 men enter. 1 man can jump out of the ring. If he feels that yellow streak coming on and he doesn't want to fight, or I don't want to fight, just jump back out of the ring. A legitimate deal. Money's going to be there. Don't, anybody that you hear, anybody that hears anything different is being lied to. There's no reason to anybody to lie about this. I've made this offer. Warren has made this offer. This is a legitimate business deal. If you hear this story or that story or why it doesn't happen, forget all of that. It's a legitimate deal. Unbelievable. The stories that you hear on YouTube. Scott Del Fuego, you know this is going to be good. Steely eyes, a glaze of doom, coming from an air-conned room. Threats of violence gaining traction. It's always talk and never action, says Scott Del Fuego. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm turning the camera around for that. Scott Del Fuego says, steely eyes, a glaze of doom, coming from an air-con room. Threats of violence, gaining traction. It's always talk and never action, says Scott Del Fuego, baby. Oh my God. Now that should be the commentary of all the mother of all commentaries, which is like the mother of all videos, the mother of all commentaries ever posted on YouTube. I'm going to read that again. I'm going to read it again. I'm putting on the big yellow. Steely eyes, a glaze of doom, coming from an air-con room. Threats of violence, gaining traction. Always talk, but never action. Yeah, baby. Who wants another rendition? Steely eyes, a glaze of doom, coming from an air-con room. Threats of violence gaining traction. Always talk, but never action. Whoa, baby. Yeah, but nothing. Scott nails it. Comment of the freaking year. Oh my God. I can't even believe such a creative comment was posted. I'm going to post it 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times, baby. 3 times. And I'm going to read it again just for the hell of it. Steely eyes, a glaze of doom coming from an aircon room. Threats of violence gaining traction. It's always talk and never action. Dun, da, da, da. Feels like something that, I swear to God, that should be in a movie. Warren says, well said, sir. Yeah, you could wear a COVID face mask, one of those paper masks. Probably also hold back, probably absorb the tears. It would be double as a tear collector. Ed Van Hagen, that's a good question, Ed. One answer to that is, well, not everybody's allergic to pollen. So pollen would be the best example. Some people, their nose gets stuffed up and clogged, or from a bee sting, they could die. And me, when a bee sting could me right here and will swell up about the size of a dime. Other people will die from a facial bee sting. It depends on the person's immune system, but the foods probably affects all people, Ed Van Hagen, but it affects me more. So, could be that from using CCA lumber, copper chloride and arsenic lumber, could be it damaged one part of my immune system. I used thousands of tons of that stuff over the years that I was a dock builder. So could be something that, or it could just be something that I'm allergic to. Like some people can get bee stings and wasp. I have. And other people from a wasp sting or a bee sting, even on the hand, they will die within hours. So probably has to do with my immune system. Ed Van Halen, Scott Del Fuego says, Ed Van Hagen, he can put on a face shield on the football helmet Mr. Fazio graciously offered him. I did. I remember that. I remember saying that you could even wear a football helmet into the ring. I remember offering my opponent to wear a football helmet so his hair didn't get messed up. Those are the words I used. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, I remember that. I said he could wear a football helmet so it didn't muss up his hair. I don't care. I mean, let's just get it on, baby. But nothing. I forgot all about that. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, thanks, Warren. Yeah, watch Warren. Warren remembered that. I forgot all. I don't remember everything. But I do remember offering my opponent in the ring a football helmet so his hair didn't get messed up. And I was serious. He could wear a football helmet into the ring. Into the ring. Mixed martial arts, and he gets to wear a football helmet. What could go wrong? I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't affect them. It's a really question, Ed. It should be looked into further. I could do a live stream where I'll put like 2 grams of salt on a spoon, and then I'll take 2 spoonfuls of straight soy sauce, and my foot will swell up like a football. I haven't done that yet. I've been waiting my foot to heal 100%, and then I get busy with other stuff, but I should do a live stream. Maybe when I get the new computer. By the way, the new computer. Okay. Everybody, I hear this nonsense that I took people's money. Well, first of all, Warren is here. Warren saw my bank account. The money for the computer is in my Philippines bank account. But more than that, Warren and we called up. I will give you the number. We called up. Well, I've dialed this number 200 times. I have dialed this number 200 times, redial. So I'm going to turn the cam around, and I'm going to show you the number. You take this number, 0917-591-0769, and Sir Jerome will answer the phone if his cell phone is available. That's the number of the company I want to buy the computer from. Warren will attest to this fact. Okay? I've pushed redial 200 times for Jerome. Now, on Friday morning, I pushed redial for his number, and he answered the phone. Not Friday, Thursday morning. So that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday morning, he said, after extensive chat in the chat window to his company called Villman, Villman, Villman Computers in Manila, Villman. That number, 0917-591-0769, is Sir Jerome's phone number. He was gonna, he said, I'll get back to you. I'm gonna find out about the computer. But here's what Jerome said when Warren was on the phone with me and Jerome. Jerome was on the phone, Warren was on Skype. Sir, you can pay me for the computer and then come to Manila to pick it up when I get it. I said, that doesn't work for me. Sir, that's the best way, because you can't travel to Manila because of the lockdown. I said, I'm not going to give you that much money, 169,000 pesos, and there's no guarantee that I'll ever get my money back or you'll ever get the computer. There was no answer, because he can't guarantee it. But he wants 169,000 pesos to be a bank-to-bank transfer for a computer. So I said to him, do you have the computer in stock? Warren will tell you if this is true. Yes, sir, we have it in stock. I'm going back to the comments. Yes, sir. What does that mean? What does it mean? Yes, sir, we have the computer in stock. What does that mean? It means they have it in stock. Ronald Webster, very old friend of mine. Thank you for stopping by, Ronald Webster. One of my first subscribers ever on YouTube. I do remember you. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so Warren was there. He wants 169,000 pesos to be transferred to his account. No returns, period. So if he gets the computer, I get the computer sent to me in 4 to 6 or 9 weeks. If he doesn't get the computer, I have to pick something else out. But that's not what I want. I want the Asus Pro Duo 581 i7 out there. I just heard this just a day or so ago that I am scamming people for $3,000 for a computer. Warren has my bank account book page, the money in the bank. I didn't spend a penny of that money. So that money, yeah, no refunds, no refunds, no refunds. I give him that money, and I either have to wait forever for him to get the computer, or what if he buys a computer that doesn't work and it takes 6 weeks to get here? And then what? I send it back and then I have to wait another 6 weeks. I wouldn't have a computer in theory till the end of September. Not doing it. So Warren was online with me on the phone with Jerome. Now, all I have to do right now is push redial, and we'll get Jerome on the phone if he answers the phone. Busy. Okay, so today I've called Jerome about 30 times because it's just push redial. Yesterday, I would say I called Jerome 100 times. Saturday, not so much Friday. Friday I had a big work day. Friday I pumped out 5 hours and 45 minutes of live stream of what my job was that day. Only when it didn't go to everybody, just went to my friends. Yeah, Ronald Webster, if that is the Ronald Webster that started with me 10 years ago. Thanks, Warren. Thanks, Ronald. Scott, Warren and I, Blue Rose and I, talk about Blue Rose and he appears. He appeared on the screen as I said the word Blue Rose. Blue Rose, he will attest to the fact that I have been trying to get a computer. I tried with him. And Blue Rose, welcome to the machine. Blue Rose, as soon as I said his name, now that was not planned, but Blue Rose was also privy to my conversations to try to buy a computer. So here are, okay, they're my friends, okay, they're long-standing members, both are Patreon members, but both are people that I have a working friendship and relationship with. I don't need to lie to my friends, and that's another thing, lying on YouTube. It's so easy to catch someone in a lie. Like, for instance, I have heard stories that I never owned an Ocean Racer, and yet for $5,000, $10,000, $1,000, for $1,000, I will meet you, and that day that we meet, I will hand you a legitimate copy of the registration for my Ocean Racer, because you have to register it like a car, or my Cobra, or show you proof I owned a house. $10,000 is all you have to win. All I have to do is show you the information and it's false, and you take $10,000. Why can't you people get it through your head that if I make a wager on YouTube, you can't beat it? You can't take my money. That's not possible. There was even a very famous blogger, or as Jack Thompson says, infamous blogger, Jack Thompson says, that said I can't ride 20 kilometers on my bicycle. Really? Why don't we just raise it to $100,000? Let's just take, and if you can't pay, I'll just have you dig the rest of the holes for the hotel with a pick and shovel. That would be something to make a video of. Ronald Webster, it is the same one, mate. Yes, 10 years seen every one of your vlogs. Thank you, Ronald. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think you called me up. I think we spoke on the phone. There was somebody from England when about 8 years ago that was, if I remember correctly. I did speak with somebody from the UK that wished me luck with my new channel. Michael is trying, LOL, very trying. That's a play on words for those of you who don't understand the English language, LOL. Nobody, thank you, Ed Van Hagen, nobody, if I documented every phone call, every conversation, every text message, right now it adds up to well over 250 phone calls and text messages, probably 300, but that includes redial. Then 5 hours of going to stores in Bohol only, from one store to the other to the other. Every one of those people in the store says, yes, sir. They call up their supplier. Yes, sir, we have it in stock. Minimum deposit, 100,000 pesos. When can you get the computer? Sir, we don't know. Do you have it in stock? Yes, sir. How long will it take to get here from Manila? Because they tell you they have it in stock in Manila. 4 to 6 weeks. But what? It's 250 miles. I could walk there in a couple of days. Well, not a couple of days. Figure 10 miles a day. Flatland, 15 miles a day. I could walk there in 6 days, in a week. I could walk to Manila in 6 days and back with the computer in my backpack. But they want 4 to 6 weeks. So I said, okay, we'll order it and I'll buy it when it gets here. No, sir. What do you mean, no, sir? They want 100,000 peso deposit. Okay, so I said, if I give you 100,000 pesos, which is not a problem, can I have my money back if it takes more than 4 weeks? No, sir. Well, what if it takes 6 weeks? Sorry, you have to wait for the computer. You have to be patient. Okay, so I'm not doing that. That's bullshit. These people here, they get your money. You're not getting it back. You might get a computer. You might get a computer that's broke. You might not get a computer for 6 months, but you're going to get the computer or something. But don't give them money in advance for something that when they get on the phone, yes, sir, we have it in stock. Okay, so here, Jerome, I'm coming to Manila. Jerome, I'm getting on a plane to go to Manila. I'm going to pick it up. No, sir. What do you mean, no, sir? Sir, we have to call our supplier in Manila. Manila store has to call their supplier. So, okay, call up. So he does. Jerome, Warren, Skype, Jerome on the phone. He calls up his supplier while Warren and I are on Skype. Sir, we can't guarantee a date. So it's 4 to 6 weeks from Manila to Bohol through Cebu, but it could be 3 to 5 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks for his supplier in Manila to get the computer to him. That's 12 weeks. And you people think it's easy? Yeah, it's a special custom computer. 2 days on my bicycle, no problem. I could do that. Why don't we wager $50,000 that I could do 250 miles in 2 days? I would do that. Because I used to do, you could do easily 12 miles an hour on a bike. So, and wait, let me think about this. 12 miles an hour times 10 hours a day. Yeah, you could do it in 2 days, pushing it. If you didn't get a blister on your buttocks or something like that. Yeah, 250 miles in 2 days would be a reasonable time frame.